Hello and welcome everyone. This is Professor Siddharth Surana. I hope you guys are doing good. मैं तो हमेशा मस्त रहता हूँ. Hope you have been studying well for your upcoming exams. I apologize for this 11th hour update, but then all thanks to social media, all thanks to the various platforms that we have and we use them productively. I want to bring to your attention a very important change that you will have to bring about in your calculation, in your income from salary chapter for valuation of perquisite of rent-free accommodation, house perquisite. First of all, let me give you a quick recap of what the house perquisite was. What did I cover with you in class? This is basically the class note. This is what I covered with you in class. This was the very first perquisite where we went to perquisite valuation. We studied the valuation of rent-free and concessional rent accommodation. I highlighted that this is an amendment for you. This amendment was brought suddenly out of nowhere. In the budget, there was no announcement. I started my May 24 batch on 19th of August 2023, a very special date for me. So was the batch. And this announcement actually came by Government of India on 18th of August. I still made it a point that I incorporated this amendment everywhere in the book. What did I teach you? What was the amendment? First, let us discuss that. Whenever the employer has given you a house to live, you have to do valuation of that house. For government employees, the valuation was very simple. It has to be according to the license fee house valuation rule. And by the way, there is no amendment. Means before the circular and after the circular, it was always license fee valuation. The amendment part was this part, the valuation of house for non-government employee. Under non-government employee, there are two possibilities. One, that the accommodation is owned by the employer. Employer ने खरीद के ये घर आपको रहने दिया. Or option 2, employer has taken it on rent where he is paying some rent and you are saving. While discussing this perquisite in class, I taught you this, that when the house is taken on rent, it is still easy that the rent paid by employer to landlord is your savings. That can be our valuation. But when the house is purchased by the employer, the only cost incurred by the employer is the purchase price, which can't become the perquisite because he is not giving you the house. He is only letting you stay in that house. And we stick to notional values. The notional values are dependent upon the population of place of where the house is situated. So you don't have to look at the location of the workplace office. You have to look at the location of the house. And what I taught you was the amended law, the new law. That is, you will go and check the population. If the population of that place is more than 40 lakh, then we will take 10% of salary. Salary ka definition also we have seen. It will include everything, but not include DA, not in terms. It will not include perquisite. It will not include your RPF value. So salary ka definition I am not discussing. There is no amendment. I have to discuss this calculation and what is that amendment and what is the change between them, because I have already taught you the amended law. So what change suddenly I have to make at the 11th hour now? The law that I taught you, the new law, the amended law, more than 40 lakh, then we apply 10% of salary. Between 15 and 40 lakh, we apply 7.5% of salary. And if the population is up to 15 lakh, we will apply 5%. So you go and check the population of that place. If the population is up to 15 lakh, 5% of salary. More than 15 up to 40 lakh, then 7.5% of salary. And more than 40 lakh, then we will apply 10% of your salary. So the highest value here is 10%. And thus for rented houses, the normal benchmark is rent paid by the employer, but it will not be more than 10% of salary. Rent paid or 10% of salary, whichever is lower. This is the amendment. Sir, once something gets amended, we are not supposed to know the old law. But here there is a problem. And the problem is this. Okay. This is the statutory update released by ICAI for May 24 exam. Now, what is a statutory update? For every attempt, there are students who have studied for the previous exam. And unfortunately, if any student has not cleared, so institute gives us updates. As teachers, we cover all the amendments in our classroom lectures, in our video lectures, everywhere. But institute gives you amendments separately. So they gave this circular. Now you observe this notification was given by the government on 18th of August, as I said. So it was not there on the budget 18th of August. Still, I made it a point. I incorporated everything. And what was the amendment? This is the amendment. For government employee, it was license fee valuation for unfurnished house and minus the amount which is recovered from the employee. License fee valuation minus recovery. And if it is furnished, so all we do is take this valuation, the valuation as per column 3, and add the furniture value. If the furniture is purchased by the employer, 10% per annum of the cost. If the furniture is taken on rent, then the actual higher charges. And here also we subtract the amount which is recovered. So this is exactly what we have studied. For furnished house, we just add value of furniture and we always subtract the amount of recovery, which is basically concessional rent. The amendment is here. There is no amendment in government employees. If we talk about government employees, there is absolutely no amendment. The amendment has come as far as the non-government employees are concerned. For non-government employees, what is the amendment? If the accommodation is owned, exactly what I have covered with you in class. This is what is given in the statutory update also. What I taught you in class is also the latest update. Sir, that means we have covered the amendment in class. You please be patient for a few minutes to exactly understand that what new you have to study for your upcoming exam. So first observe, statutory update exactly mentions what we have covered in class. If it is a purchased house, more than 40 lakh, 10%, between 50 and 40 lakh, 7.5%, and other places that is up to 15 lakh, 5%. If it is furnished value, then take this value plus add value of furniture, which is 10% of cost or actual hire charges, and both places we will subtract the amount which is recovered. And if the accommodation is taken on rent by the employer, then actual lease rent or 10% of salary, whichever is lower, reduced by the amount recovered, that is concessional rent, and furniture ka value like we always had. So in my chart, I do the same thing. We first take government employee license fee valuation rule, assuming unfurnished. Then for private sector employees, in case of owned houses, we take on the basis of population 10, 7.5 and 5%. And for rented houses, we take actual rent or 10% of salary, whichever is lower. That is value of unfurnished house. So in all the cases, we are adding the value of furniture, 10% of cost or higher charges. If it is taken on, if it is purchased, so it will be 10% of cost. And if it is taken on rent, so it will be higher charges. And for concessional, we will subtract any amount which is going to be recovered. So do you realize that the statutory update represents exactly the amendment that we have studied in class? This is the value of your rent-free accommodation. But in the circular released by the government, they added a particular thing. This is what you need to pay attention to, because till now whatever I have said is also what you have studied, is also what we have covered in class. We have covered this amendment. We have covered this amendment also in our revision cum amendment lecture, in our RTP lecture, wherever we discuss this. For example, there was one more change, leave encashment. The maximum notified over lifetime was 3 lakh when our batch took place, but later it was changed to 25 lakh. So I told you about that change in the RTP lecture, in the amendment cum revision lecture. In every subsequent opportunity, I have made sure that I educate you about that change. Leave encashment maximum threshold has increased from 3 lakh to 25 lakh. Another such change has taken place now, and it is very important for me to bring it to your attention. Our government released this circular on 18th of August. That means it was immediately applicable. But in that circular, they mentioned one thing, that this amendment will be applicable with effect from 1st of September 2023. Now, please understand, all those students who are giving their exam in May and November 2024. So, whatever I am discussing is also applicable to November 24 students. Your previous year is previous year 23-24. Do you understand previous year 23-24? Now, going by the words of the circular, the amendment was introduced on the 1st of September. Somewhere here. Okay. So, April, May, June, July, August, you have the old calculation, which we did not discuss in class, because we don't discuss old things. We have to forget the old and focus on new. Law ka provisions I am talking about, not relationships. We have to forget the old thing and focus on the new part. So, if the change has taken place, we immediately adapt to the change. We take the change. And the change took place. And we studied that change. So, do we now know that from 1st of September, the new rule is applicable? And that is why we studied the new rule only. Yes, as per law, till August, the calculation should be as per old calculation. And from September, the calculation should be as per new. So, now what ICAI did? First, I'll show you the ICAI study material. So, this is, you should, all the students who are watching this video, please download ICAI study material from the BOS Knowledge portal. You'll get your new study material, chapter salaries, on page number 71 of salaries chapter. So, salary is your chapter number 3, and on that page number 71, they have given you perquisite valuation rule. Page number 3.71 of your ICAI new study material released for May 24. See what they have given. For government employees, no change. License fee valuation rules. If it is unfurnished, then only that much. And for concessional, we reduce the amount recovered, reduced by the rent actually paid by the employee, the amount recovered what we learn in class. And if it is furnished, all we do is that in this value, we add furniture value, 10% of cost or higher charges. And here also we subtract the amount recovered. That means government employee, there is no change. Okay. Now let's talk about non-government employee. This page number 72 of your new study material from salaries chapter. So 3.72. Everyone will have to download this page and study this page. Till 31st of August 23, the rule was for private sector. If the house is purchased by the employer, so if we talk about this side, the purchase side, here we are doing on the basis of population. Earlier also it was on the basis of population. But what was the rule? If the population is greater than 25 lakh, it is going to be 15% of salary. If the population is greater than 25 lakh, it will be 15% of salary. If the population is between 10 lakh and 25 lakh, it will be 10% of salary. And if the population is of other places, that is up to 10 lakh, it will be 7.5%. So these three things that we have, 10, 7.5 and 5, this earlier used to be, if you want me to write this year itself, till 31st August 23, the system was your population figures were not 40 lakh, 15 lakh and lower. The population figures were 25 lakh, 10 lakh and lower. So you had to see population up to 10 lakh, population between 10 lakh and 25 lakh and population more than 25 lakh. Population up to 10 lakh, between 10 and 25 and more than 25. Population up to 10 lakh, between 10 and 25 and more than 25. And the valuation was 7.5, 10% and 15% of salary. The valuation was 7.5%. The valuation was earlier rule 7.5%, 10% and 15% of salary. So do you understand what the change has, or what is the change that has taken place? Okay. Till 31st August, we will go and check the population of the place. If the population is 0 to 10 lakh, then your perquisite valuation will be 7.5% of your salary. More than 10 lakh, then up to 25 lakh, 10% of your salary, and more than 25 lakh, then 15% of your salary. This rule was now relaxed to make it like this. Instead of 10 lakh, we made the rule till 15 lakh. From 7.5, we made it 5%. Between 10 and 25 was changed to between 15 and 40, and 10% was reduced to 7.5. And more than 25 lakh is changed to more than 40 lakh and reduced to 10% of salary. So this calculation was the calculation till 31st August, and this calculation is the calculation from 1st of September. And here also, this was owned houses. Owned houses will depend on population. And as far as rented houses are also concerned, it was actual rent or 15%. Sir, why 15? Because highest was 15, no? Because here highest was 15. So here also it was 15. So actual rent paid, the rule here was rent paid or 15% of salary, whichever is lower. So here it is 10%, earlier it was 15%. And here it is these figures, earlier they were these figures. So what was the rule till 31st August 23? Till 31st August 23, for owned houses, it was 7.5, 10 and 15. 7.5, 10 and 15, and the population data is also different. 0 to 10 lakh, more than 10 to 25 and more than 25. And for rented houses, it was rent paid or 15% of salary. See, in the new law, the highest rate is 10. So here also they kept it. But in the old law, the highest rate was 15. So here also it was 15. So rent paid or 15% of salary. That means I am basically recording this video to teach you the old law. The new law I have taught you in class. Owned houses 5, 7.5 and 10 if owned, and actual rent or 10% of salary, whichever is lower if rented. Now I am teaching you the old law till 31st August. 7.5, 10 and 15 if owned, and rent paid or 15% of salary, whichever is lower if rented. This is what we have studied as far as the old law is concerned. The rest of it is same. In the old law also, it was add value of furniture, 10% of cost or higher charges. Rented house also 10% of cost or higher charges. Any amount recovered from the employee will be subtracted because we talk about concessional rent. Everything else is same. The only thing that has changed is this part, the valuation of the unfurnished house in private sector. Unfurnished private sector. For owned houses, 7.5, 10 and 15 has now become 5%, 7.5 and 10%. Population data also has changed. 10 lakh, 25 lakh has changed to 15 lakh and 40 lakh. And for rented houses, rent paid or 15% of salary has now changed to rent paid or 10% of salary. So that means, can I say I am recording the video to teach you the old law? New law, I repeat, I have taught you in class. You have these notes. We have covered in our notes. I have taught you the new law. I am recording this video to teach you the old law. Sir, why am I doing this? First of all, in ICAI study material, they have given us the old law. You observe, this is page number 71, where they have given the perquisite valuation rule. First page only government ka data is given where there is no amendment. Second page they have given private sector data where there is amendment. They have given the full old law. They have not given the new law. In the study material they have given only the old law. Okay? Then if I talk about the statutory update, in the statutory update they have given only the new law. Only the new law. So they have given 10%, 7.5 and 5%. And here also in case of rented also actual restricted to 10%. Means in study material they have given the old law. In statutory update, they have given the new law. By the way, the new law is applicable from 1st of September. The correct logical calculation is that we apply the old law till 31st August and we apply the new law from 1st September. But in the statutory update, they did not tell us to apply it like this. So we studied the new law like we always do. Now, ICAI has recently released a mock test paper where an employee was given a house for the full year. Let us take the example. Your salary is 10 lakh. Which salary? Salary for the purpose of rent-free accommodation. Now, do we know salary for the purpose of rent-free accommodation includes what? Salary for the purpose of rent-free accommodation will include what? It will include your basic, all the allowances except DA not in terms, your provident fund values will not be included, perquisites will not be included. Supposingly, your salary for the full year is 10 lakh. And boss has given you house in Mumbai. Salary for the full year is 10 lakh and the boss has given you a house in Mumbai. If the house is given to you in Mumbai, what does that mean? Will fall in the highest percentage. So as per the old law, the highest percentage was 15%. As per the new law, the highest percentage is 10. So sir, I have taught you to apply the new one. So what we will do is on 10 lakh, we will apply the new one 10%. But now you will have to do what? You will have to split this salary into 5 by 12 and 7 by 12. This is the salary till 31st of August. If full year ka amount is 10 lakh rupees, then salary till 31st August 23 will be 10 lakh into 5 by 12 and salary with effect from 1st September 23 will be the remaining 7 by 12. So what we will have to do is, we will have to split your salary into the old period and the new period. On this old period salary, we will apply the old percentage, that is 15. And on this new period salary, we will apply the new percentage, that is 10%. First of all, if boss is giving you owned house in Mumbai, what have you been studying? 10% of salary. So if this is my salary, I will directly apply 10%. But now you can't do that. You will have to split that salary into 5 months salary, that is till August, for applying the old law. What you will now do is, this was the rule till August and this is the rule from 1st September. We have to take 15% of salary because in our example it is Mumbai till August, Mumbai more than 25 lakh, and 10% of salary from 1st September because it is Mumbai. So what we are going to do here, we will take our salary of 10 lakh. We will split that salary into the salary from April to August, that is 10 lakh into 5 by 12 and salary from September to March, that is 10 lakh into 7 by 12. This is the salary of the old period and new period. In the old period, on this salary we will apply 15% because Mumbai falls in the highest rate of 15, and in the new period on this salary we will apply 10%. This is the amendment, but this amendment is applicable from September. In study material, institute did not mention the amendment. In your statutory update, institute mentioned the amendment, but they didn't say that you have to do both. And finally, when they released a mock test paper, they took this split. They are saying that for the old period you apply the old calculation and for the new period you apply the new calculation. So as students, you are supposed to know the old calculation also. Under rented houses, it is just this much change, 10% will change to 15%. Under owned houses, the population data as well as the percentages have changed. For you to get this, you will get this in the new wala data you will get in the statutory update. Page number 2 itself you will get, because new wala you will not need. New wala to वैसे भी we have studied also in class, so new wala to you know only. The old calculation that is applicable till 31st of August, that you will get in ICAI study material on page number 72, that is your population data, and 15, 10, 7.5, and for the rented houses maximum 15% of salary, or alternatively today's class that I have taken, this small video that I have made, you can take a screenshot also of this, you can take a screenshot of this example also. This was the amendment that I have to bring to you. I once again apologize for this 11th hour change, but when we have something new in the law, we studied the new thing, and institute never before clarified that you have to split your total salary into the old period and the new period. They have directly clarified in the mock test paper, but as teachers it is our responsibility that if they are clarifying anything, we bring it to you, which is why we always recommend and request you in class that kindly stay connected with us on our various channels. There are students who are connected with us on Telegram, on YouTube, on various channels. There are students who like to stay in touch. There are students who like to be friends and have good communication with the teachers. As teachers, we are always available for you, and thanks to technology, we have this platform that at the 11th hour also I could bring this amendment to you. So please make sure that from now onwards, in rent-free accommodation, in all the questions you solve, you split your salary into salary till August and salary for the balance period. For salary till August, you apply the old law. From September, you apply the new law. We have to learn the amendment only. Next year ka students will learn only the amendments, but only for you people, those giving exams in May 24 and November 24, you have to draw this split line, split up to August and the balance calculation till September. Kindly make sure that you share this information with all your friends who are giving exams in May 24 and November 24, because this is going to be applicable to all of them. If there are friends of yours who are no longer in touch with social media, who are not using WhatsApp or YouTube anymore, kindly still please make sure that you in any manner communicate to them, send this video to them, so that they are aware of the change that has taken place. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys now in CA final. I think that's the only place now we can meet, no matter how much we want to, but we can meet directly in the CA final class. So please comment on the video. Let's meet in CA final. Let's meet in CA final. Okay. Thank you very much. All the best for your exams. Again, lots of love. Om Namah Shivaya. Take care. Bye bye.